Hi, everybody. This is Vlad from RedTrack, and this is Samir from Juni. You probably know Samir well, and everybody who is on the show today. Samir has a lot of experience in digital and performance marketing, and right now he is here as the CEO and co-founder of Juni. And guys, for those of you who spent the isolation doing anything and you don't yet know what Juni is, it is a fintech company that develops a banking app and a platform for e-commerce and online marketers. And we share it internally with some of our users already. Everybody loves it. So it's one tool to track all your finances, payments, and funds, like RedTrack, but for real money, not for the spend in Google. So, having said that, Samir, it's your show today. We have a lot of people listening. The goal is just tell us a bit about the story behind Juni, how it works, what it does, so to make it interesting for the audience. And like I always tell, next time somebody writes to our support team about Juni, we'll just share the link to this video and make it easier. And then after this part of the story, we'll switch to Q&A session. And hey guys, like usual, we do probably up to 20 minutes of Samir talking, and then as much time as we have left for Q&As, if you'll have any. Okay, this is RedTrack stream number 23, I guess. Samir, it's time for you to talk. I'll jump here in the different way in the bottom of the screen, and please go.
Thank you. So first of all, very happy to be here and have the opportunity to talk with all the RedTrack customers and friends. It's as you said, myself been in companies that've done a lot of advertising, so I know how important a good tracking solution is. So just to give you my background, so I'm from Gothenburg, Sweden, and essentially I'm actually a lawyer, but I haven't worked so much in law, a little bit. But what have done most of my life is to work with performance marketing and e-commerce. So I've been in two companies. One company who when we tried to scale up performance marketing campaigns and at the same time building software for performance marketers, which we failed. That was the first company, and then the second company we did more classic, straightforward e-commerce, both fulfillment and dropshipping, and that was more of a success. And that company is still around. And in both those companies, I was the one responsible for financial management, all the KPIs, all the accounting, all the bookkeeping, and I was very frustrated. So we actually switched banks multiple times in the last company, and probably a lot of you guys out there have the same experience that I have. So you get your cards declined and you don't know why, and you're trying to call up the bank and they don't even know who you are. Like, I once had a situation where we didn't get our payment to MailChimp through, and I called them up and they were like, "Who's MailChimp and why do you want to pay $8,000 to a USD provider, and what's the meaning of that?" Which is obviously super frustrating. Other time, I tried to raise the spend limit of our cards, and I called the bank because I couldn't find it in the digital app where I could raise it, and they were like, "No, it's hard coded. It's 500,000 SEK every week, and that can't be changed." And we were like, "But we're doing campaigns that is much bigger than that. Or you have to use multiple cards," and that is obviously not good, because if you have your card in Google, you don't want to switch to different cards. And those are two of the main problems or the frustrations I saw then. But then you also have the other problems, which is you're sitting and waiting for money from PayPal. It can take multiple days, and every day you have to wait is a loss in your growth. And I always try to push that time limit, but you have it's not only the regular payment time, it's also that PayPal can keep your money because they're afraid of your risk, because they don't see your whole economy. So that's another problem. And also getting the credit. The regular banks we used, they wanted us to present long business plans and Excel sheets with very little understanding of the reality. So that was some of the problems we had, and I felt on a daily basis. And on top of that, and you probably feel that yourself, there's a lot of tedious processes, preparing accounting, having to go into different advertising networks, different SaaS tools, getting all the invoices, matching them to your transactions and so on. And on a daily level, be able to see your total economy. In order for us to be able to see, what we were actually having as the flow of funds, or what our balances, the total balance was, I had to go into Stripe, to PayPal, to different affiliate networks, and then calculate together, okay, these are the money we have right now, these are the money that is coming, and the day they're coming, and so on and so on. And that was, happening on a daily basis, because people in the team were asking, okay, how much can I spend on advertising today? How much can I buy products for, and so on. So those were part of my experience. So fast forwarding, I then started to work at a fintech, and there I met one of our other co-founders who was the lead engineer there, and his wife also had an e-commerce, and we realized that me and his wife had a very similar experience. So we started to think, how can we build something great for our community, for the segment we knew very well, and the user profile we ourselves had identified with. And so that was the start of Juni. And what we have tried to do from the beginning is to be something more and better than just a bank. So we call ourselves, and we try to be, the best financial companion for e-commerce companies. And when we say that, we mean that we want to be what we believe a human being, like I was in my company, or one of my co-founders, Anders, his wife, is for her company, the best financial advisor and companion in that sense for that company. So we are talking about three parts. We looking at insights and knowledge, and I think that is something all of you guys out there really can understand how important it is. In the same way, when you track your campaigns and the KPIs, you want to be able to track your liquidity and see everything in one unified place. So what we do at Juni is that we give our customers the ability to integrate all of their different flow funds into one, and then see them together. And then on top of that, what we want to do over time is to be able to derive the right insights, so you can understand what's happening in your company and take the right decisions. So which spend is going up, which categories of spend, when you have great time of pay. So when you have the payback time, it's going down on your revenue streams. You want to know that. And if you can spend more money on a campaign, and that will, because that campaign has a great ROI or ROAS, then you want to be able to see what kind of liquidity you will have in the future, and if you should or take that decision to actually spend that. So that is about the insights. And then we have what we call the standard banking tooling, which I think is essentially actually something that there's a lot of things that you can customize for our customer group and our community too, which we talk about is the cards. So what we offer is unlimited virtual cards. You can create as many as you want. You can tag them, so you can set the card structure after your company structure. You can set up multiple accounts. Today we offer Euro and Sterling, but we plan to be able to offer multiple or nearly all currencies in the coming 6 months. You have 1% cashback on all your spend. That was something that I was super frustrated about. When I looked for great card management and card providers, I was shocked to see that the only one offering good rewards in Europe is American Express. And for every one of you out there that use the American Express, it's not the best digital product. So for us, it was 100%, we wanted to give great rewards, because if you spend that much money on your advertising online, you should be able to get something back from your financial partner. In our case, if we want to be the best financial companion, we shouldn't just take all of the financial fees and keep it ourselves. So that's one very important part. The other part is our cards. They have 1 million in rolling spend limit on a 7-day basis. So you never have the problem, or maybe if you're really, really, really big, but then please send me an email after this. But usually you would never have a problem by hitting those spend limits. We also wanted our cards to be credit cards, because that's important of two reasons. One, because they will be accepted much more, and it's easier to use them. And then, of course, also because we in the future want to add credit. So This is the standard banking tools. And lastly on that is the credit. So we are planning now in the coming 2 quarters to be able to offer credit on our accounts and cards. And our credit product, what has been important for us is to build that after what you need. So high, credit limits on a net 30, so you get the liquidity you need in order to be able to spend without having the fear that oh, I don't have the money in, or you have to wait for money to come into your account. And that's also why we going forward are looking for to be able to add another credit product, which of some of you maybe have seen our first demo, which is the instant payout. So if you have money on different payment gateways or affiliate networks, you will be able to access that earlier, which I think can be a game changer when we launch it. So that's the second part, which we call the tools. And then the third part is the automation. And actually, when we talk to a lot of customers, and including myself, that is something that creates the most exciting. So when we say automation, we're thinking about all the financial processes you have in your life that is, taking time and doesn't add more revenue. So one very clear case is the accounting. So usually, at least a lot of us has an accounting software that works pretty well. But what can still be a big problem is that you need to fetch a lot of what we call verifications, which is invoices or receipts, and then you need to send them in. And you also need to match them. So, in my case, I had a long list of transactions I need to go through and match. But because we are integrating all your payment gateways, all your bank accounts, your whole financial flow, that means that we also can see all your transactions, reconcile between them, and then as we're integrating with your ad networks and your revenue sources, we can also fetch the invoices and match them automatically. And that is one of our great, goals in our vision, to take that work away from all people in the company. So that's one part. The other part is the money management. So one thing we're looking every time we're doing our integrations is to be able to update your payment method. So if you need to switch your cards, or if you are setting up a new account, instead of having going into Google and add the payment method, you should be able to do that when you create the card in Juni. So that is another thing. And then thirdly, which I'm super excited about, is the communication piece. One of the things I always thought was strange with all the banking solutions I use or have used is that you can't communicate clearly with notifications and information to your team in their channels. And I think that is super important. The media buyer needs to know how much money they can spend and how the campaigns are going, and not only from a CTR perspective, but also from how much liquidity are we creating, what's the working capital. So then has been driven us, and I think actually it's also one of the reasons some of you guys out there who have used Juni really loves them, which is the service. That we are 100% focused on our community. We want to be the best financial companion, the best banking solution for you guys, and no one else. And that's super important. Therefore, when we are hiring people to our customer success team, what we look at is, okay, what's their experience of fintech? What's their experience of advertising, media buying, e-commerce? And that's together gets us, I think, an advantage in the sense that most of our people know how it is to be on the other side, and therefore can give a very different level of premium service to our customers, which means that they understand the problem faster and also understand the pain and feels the pain. So that is something we're really working on, and we're working on giving customers a lot of face time with our team. So that is, what we are doing, and I think, I hope, if you haven't tried Juni, that you'll come and try us out. What we are usually talking about is the best customers for us is customers that have a lot of media buying. We are ourselves, from e-commerce and performance marketing. We did fulfillment, we did, drop shipping, affiliate links. But what was the common, thing for everything we've done as is the media buying. So if you're doing a lot of media buying, you should try Juni out. We are accepting customers in UK and in the EU. Exception is Germany, because unfortunately they have a little bit different rules, but we will go live in Germany in Q4. And the same with Malta. So Malta and Germany Q4, but the rest are welcome to start right now. Okay.
Thank you very much. That was exciting, and I learned a thing or two and confirmed all things I personally did myself when we were just studying, that matching those invoices with actual expense. Hey, this goes here now, and this one is actually two payments.
Yeah.
It goes here. It's a pain.
Yeah.
So my question is, okay, we are based in Lithuania. It's you, but we are not ecom. We're just SaaS. Should we join Uni? Because, and that's question. Probably we have a lot of media buys, but we also have SaaS companies. Among RedTrack use, we have service companies. So, uh, as a SaaS company, that we, of course, we buy media, but it's not a lot. But we do have multiple subscriptions, for example, across tools, and they're small here, there, and this all adds up. If we can automate this to one place, well, this would be great. So my question is, would you accept? Probably yes, but should we do and start to use Juni as our financial service provider? And what may be the additional benefits for SaaS companies like RedTrack that you have not mentioned while talking about e-com customers?
Yeah, no, I think I would never say no to you, Vlad. So in that sense, I think you will be accepted. For us, we also have other types of business as customers, and not solely e-commerce and performance marketing, even if that is 80-90%. I usually answer customers that if you're not e-commerce and performance marketing, you will not be able to get all the benefits from Uni, because when we look at different features, we look at what's best for that customer group. So if you're a SaaS company, you may not get the same or the right integrations that you would have needed, or the right coverage. Also, with the credit products may not suit you. Maybe you should go to if you want credit, you should go to Pipe or someone who gives you that kind of lending. So that's the case, but still a lot of those customers come to us, and if you compare with your current solution, I think we are still overall, because we are new, we are fully digital. We have built something which I'm very proud of. That is a great banking experience. That you still you get a lot of it, and you get a great a banking solution. So I would absolutely say try it. And what's really interesting is that we see a lot of different customers who even if they don't get everything, if you're like a mobile software developer, you have some payment gateways, you have media buying, you still get the 1% cashback, you still get the high spend limits, you still get the unified view, so you can see a different payment gateway. So you get a lot of this, and one thing I didn't even say in the beginning was that we're free. No, we don't take any charge. So if your current solution costs you money, come over to Uni and make money instead.
Okay, and so the more you talk, the more questions I have. So I'll ask two more, and then I'll stop here, because okay, you just mentioned the payment gateway. Do you work as a payment gateway too, or just you connect to other payment gateways?
We only connect with payment gateways, so we integrate with your current payment gateways.
Okay, clear. And the last one, which I'll ask here, although I'll definitely address it behind the stage. We do not only ad tracking for media buyers, we also do ad tracking for people who work with affiliates.
Yeah.
And quite a popular request is, hey, can RedTrack automate the payment? So whenever they receive payment request, they can press a button, boom, payment approved, basically the payment is dispatched to their affiliate or publisher. So is Juni a solution for such a scenario, or do you plan to support it in the future?
A great question. We actually also have got that question or feature demand or request, and I think it's very interesting. In what we always have wanted is to be able to integrate with the affiliate networks in order for the affiliates that we see as one of our customers can be able to see their payments, how long it will take, how much money they have, and so on. And I think it would be super strong if we in the future also can have that partnership with the networks or the trackers, so on, so we can actually also distribute the money, because then we have control over the funds, which means that we also can give credit on them. So when we know that the money is going to be sent, we can give access to the customer directly. So if there is any waiting time, we can eliminate that. which I think is super powerful. But we also obviously can be a great partner to other parts of the ecosystem than just what we call the media buyer, and I think it's super interesting. So I think what's important for us is to do it in the right time, and also do it with the right partners. But I'm very open to have an integration where we will make that possible.
Okay, cool. Because that again ties nicely into our idea to build a marketplace. Because on the one hand, we have a lot of e-com providers or just service or product owners, and we have a great deal of affiliates who know how to promote those products. So we have those questions. Hey guys, can you show us each other so we can find partners who already use RedTrack? There is a connection.
Yeah.
So now tie in some financial support to this marketplace, and wow. Maybe an interesting solution, but that's the topic for another talk. And we already have some questions since there's a chance to ask heroes the question. So first one, this one is for you. Probably all the questions will be for you. And it's an interesting one and tough one. I like those questions. And you might ask me anything in streams, hey, Vlad, why don't your team respond? That happens.
Yeah. Okay, so do you want me to answer the question directly here?
I think you will have to follow up with Luke or just explain how the process happens, because I'm not sure if you can answer the question right to him because you don't know all the details. And Luke, please don't share the details because that's a live stream.
Yeah, I think, Luke, I will look into this. And if you are very welcome to email me also at Samir, my name, at Juni.co. And we can go to the bottom with it, because it sounds very strange. We have not longer than 48 hours in response time. So I think if you please email me and we will look into it.
Thank you very much. So the next one we have here would be this, very straightforward.
Yes, so you don't necessarily need an UK LTD, but you need a registered company. So it's a little bit dependent on which country you're in, but we do not accept sole traders or individuals. And the reason for that is very simple. The demand and complexity of the product becomes much harder to sustain and grow in a reasonable timing. So we've decided to focus on registered companies, because then we can create the user experience with the onboarding flow that is very automated and simple. And if you have to deal with non-registered entities, you need them to send in a lot more paper, because we are bound to follow the regulators' demands on doing KYB and KYC on all our customers.
Yeah, and that's we pass through all those checks quite often. That's a lot to demand from a non-business entity. Okay, and just to close the previous question. So, Luke, I've seen your message. Luke, thank you. I hope it will be resolved. So, everybody, we got a very exciting presentation to the role of financial support for media buyers. And a lot of you have joined the stream since we started. Thank you very much. We just 2 questions. I promise me that there will be either a lot and we'll talk for 40 minutes, or everybody will be just processing the information and thinking, and then questions will be following. And since it's about financial, so maybe that's why there are not many questions. So what we typically do, we give the audience a small weight, and then we just say, hey, it was great. There will be no more questions, guys. All the other questions should go as comments to those live stream videos that will be available after the stream. So for now, while maybe there will be, okay, it's also fun to see people joining. Welcome, guys. We're talking about Juni as the provider of financial, basically the bank for media buyers and e-com operators. If you have any questions to Samir, who is the CEO of Juni, please ask them in comments. And meanwhile, my question, you mentioned that just pounds and euro, and to indulge my interest, why not US? So what's the story with US?
So it's actually also a question of complexity. So as soon as you start handling USD, you have to follow US laws and regulation because they have extended their right to demand regulatory compliance to everyone who handles their money. So it was for us it was a question of, if we want to be able to launch as quick as possible, we can't start off with USD. But we knew also that USD is super important, and it's our number one feature request. And if I look at my previous companies, the majority of nearly all my costs in those companies has been in USD, and actually also a lot of our revenue, if not all revenue. So obviously, I think you want the possibility to what we call naturally hedge, to take the cost and the revenue in the same currency, and that is something we're gonna give you. But even now, and we have some customers that tell me like, wait, we will wait for USD because we don't want to pay with euro and USD. But then, if you just look at the facts, we don't have any additional FX markup. So we follow the Visa rate, which is very, very, very low. So even if you use our Euro cards and pay USD, you will earn a cashback on 0.66 to 7 points, which means that you will still be beneficial of switching if you have no cashback today, even if you don't use the same currency as your cost is. But with that being said, we are focusing on delivering USD accounts and cards as soon as possible. So that is highest on our list.
Yeah, clear, because it was more of an issue because we do pay with Eurocard for even for USD expenses, and it works fine. In our case, being a European company, but of course our spend is small on media compared to regular media buyers. The question was just because the US probably the biggest market with in media, with Japan being was probably number 2. So then my next question would be: any thoughts about Japan? How is that happens?
No, actually, Japan hasn't come up so much. If you look at our waiting list when we started, 40% of the companies were from the US. And, I think for me and for our team, it would be super exciting to go into US. We wanted to start in UK and EU because we thought, that's a big challenge and it's a big, market in itself, but it's still, focused and not taking too much. But US is something we're really looking at, and Japan, I will actually take extra look there. It's not something that come up before for us.
I mean, probably it may not come because that's a thing in itself.
Yeah.
But when you look into a bigger media, how to say, advertising market, right, where how people spend money, it would be number 2 after US. At least it was number 2 when in my days of doing programmatic stuff. So that was the question. Okay, cool. I think your presentation falls in line with, we have to think it through because it's about money, and basically it was very precise, and my questions are more out of curiosity. And I do know that people don't often ask questions out of curiosity on live streams. They think it's serious stuff like, guys, it's not a webinar where we show slides, where we preach some idea trying to sell. No, we're here to talk, to exchange insights, and to answer questions. But again, I do it all the time. It's still been treated like a sort of some webinar where people will be sold something. But that's fine. You'll have extra 30 minutes in your schedule to do something good in the evening. Me too. I'll write a couple of more emails for today. Okay, guys, I have a counter time here. We will give Samir a 30-second break, and me will practice silence, pretend we're meditating. If there will be no questions, we'll say, hey, thank you, it was nice, and we'll definitely talk more because we need to discuss that idea. So time is right now. We have 25 seconds left. When I do it myself, it's okay. But when we're together, I feel like the guy on this auction table saying, like, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and if someone has a question afterwards, it's very simple, and to reach us at Juni, and you can go into our chat, or you can just email me at samir@juni.co. And please, I think if you are a company in Europe either UK or the EU, you should try Juni out. I'm certain that you will, have a great experience. And I know a lot of your customers, are agencies, and we've seen a lot of these customers, agency customers, really like, our setup because they can set up the accounts and the cards for the different customers, which means that they can actually, earn 1% on spend and track their customers spend much better. So that's been a huge success. So if you're
Okay,
an
and that's
agency,
my question was like dessert. So if no one will, I want to ask about agencies. Okay,
yeah,
but the other question about agencies, then if you continue this line, because that was a question of one of our agency customers. Hey, and would Uni help with the credit lines to support not us, because it's definitely not like our account, but more our customers whom we
yeah.
serve, and how this will be organized in terms of all the compliances, regulations, organizations. So who will be provided to whom?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question, and I don't have a final answer on that. But we're looking at the use case because, we have these customers who have 10 or 15 or 100 clients, and they spend for them, and usually you may want the client's cards to be used so you don't hurt your own liquidity, but if you can get an extra 1% on their spend back, and you get that money instead of the client if they don't use Juni, and at the same time you don't lose out on liquidity, that seems like a super proposition. So what we're looking at is how can we fuel money into these agencies and help them so they also have the enough liquidity to take over the spend, because if they do that, they get the additional benefit of actually being able also to track everything and see, okay, this client spent all of this on these different sources and ad accounts. And that is something we want to be able to give them. And we think and really believe that it's better to have one unified place for all the spend than having to, go to different sources. So if you're an agency, you should have all the requirements from us so you can move over the business and all the spend to Juni, and not think that it's cost you anything.
Okay, clear. And last one. Now, this promise from me, it will be last one question. This is real case. It
Yeah,
happened to us in RedTrack. I'll
yeah,
explain you the case, and you will maybe you will be able to tell me what would happen in case it would be Juni, not the bank we used. So we had a Bing account
yeah,
for a very stupid, in my opinion, thing that was in the setup. Like we changed company name, so old company name renamed, new company name became a master account for the old company. The card from the master account for the new company got somehow attached to the old company name within the Bing.
yeah,
Microsoft said that's a huge policy violation. Your account is closed without any chance of restoring. Say, guys, but it's sort of stupid. Yeah, we understand, but that's the rules. We just cannot do anything. I say, okay,
yeah,
how would I open your account? Let's see. At least don't use the same card or the same bank account, whatever, with us, because we'll block it automatically. And I do know that all the other bigger payment ad networks like Google, they actually block the accounts sometimes immediately when there is a payment method that was associated with the other blocked account.
yeah,
So how it works, and a lot of your customers probably run into the same issues, how it works when there are multiple cards connected to one account. Like if one card got flagged, like in our case with Bing, which is we did nothing, basically a setup issue. But now our card is flagged, our account is flagged, our business is flagged. Actually, we cannot probably use the same business to
yeah.
go legally to go to the Bing. What would be our case? Should that be Unicard?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think when it comes to the security on different ad networks, that's on the ad network or the provider. So that's nothing we impact. We try to be as proactive as possible. So first of all, as I started, we have from the beginning wanted to have credit cards because credit bins are accepted much more and seem as more secure because you have an attached credit to it. So that's one important thing. We also have decided from day one that we wanted, business platinum cards, which is the highest Visa tier you can have for businesses in Europe. And the reason we wanted them is because they're also getting accepted more. So that's two of the things we're doing. And now we're also actually, when we are improving our banking infrastructure, we're also working on making the what we can call the security and the customization of details in your card easier, so you can from the beginning set it up. And I think what you're also describing is something that we want over time to be able to automate. So you can see, okay, is the billing address on this account the same as you have in your card? So you don't of mistake add a card with a very different address or company name, which may then trigger a response.
Yep.
So that's some of the things we want to do automatically. But then I think one of the big things here is that we are working very much on creating great relationships with all of these players. So we talk with Google, we talk with the VPs of Facebook in order for them to understand that we, want to be the best banking solution, the best financial companion for our community, but we don't want to, help someone be fraudulent. So I rather say no to someone who tried to, take money in that sense, from Facebook, if that means that all our customers that are doing good will get much better help than you got from Bing, and also that them, the ad network will know that if you use a Unicard, that is 100% secure. And I think that is, a position we, now we've been live for, half a year. So it's, still some time and trust to be built up. But that is something we really, want to come to, and something I believe, we are on our way to become, which is, in the end, I would hope that if you got that problem, you could call us and we would help you out. Because if you look at Bing, what the rule they have, and all of these players, the reason they have these hard rules is because they have constant, they are very risk averse and they have constant fraud, situations that they're trying to avoid. What we want to come to is a solution where they, in their automatic rules, can say, "Oh, this is a Unicard. That's no problem." And if they ever see a problem, they can come to us directly and we will help them if there is something. So I think that is what we are trying to build up over time, and hopefully we'll come there. But right now, if you had a big problem, if you're a Uni customer, we would contact the ad network. I wouldn't lie and say that our best connections are with Bing, but there is absolutely different ad networks and providers where we can talk with them, and we know a lot of the people working there.
Cool. Thank you very much. That explains a lot, and I do appreciate that part about how you built your vision. Because as a tracker, run into, or especially in the past when I was just starting, and especially in the affiliate space, into the same setup. Okay, either we build trust with the ad networks, and or we build clocking solutions. You won't find that in RedTrack we don't support it. We don't have anything for it, because you can do either, or you cannot. Well, you can try to sit like a phrase and two stools at the same time. It's never ends up good. So cool. So looks like we share a lot of values here. Okay. Thank you very much. So we managed to talk for 10 more minutes, but that was the last part about Bing. It was very interesting, guys, and I hope you heard that. Yes, like nobody will bail you out except a few, but with time, Uni will build trust, and probably this will be the key aspect, because it's really important with, especially with all. And I'll be honest, I do know that Google prefers non-card payments by default. And so that comment again about having Visa Platinum cards, I never thought about this the way until you told me. But okay, now it makes sense. So it's just not a regular card, even not just a credit card. Okay, that's a card with quite a lot of additional positive indicators attached to it by any verification system, and Junis get it by default. That's huge. I never thought about the value of all those platinum until you put it this way. It's just because you'll get validated easier. Fine. you have one customer from Lithuania already. I think we need to address it with your team, not after the call, but sometime tomorrow, because we have a payment problem with Bing. We still need the card to use, and we have not solved it yet. So maybe this will be a solution. And speaking about cards, I will have one other question that might be totally irrelevant. Then you'll say so. But from my layman perspective, because I'm really not deep into banking and fintech, I probably need to catch up. But I prefer to go deep into attribution, cookieless, and all this stuff. What's the difference between the guys like Revolut and you?
So I think, on a very high level, the big difference between them and us is that they want to become neo bank for everyone, and they think that if you build a neo bank for everyone, you can do that on what we can call to the level of greatness, where a lot of people will switch to their solution. I don't believe you can build a great product for everyone. You need to focus, and I believe that if when you are focused, then you can also create much more deeper value. So what we do as Juni is that we are 100% focused on one customer type, one community, and that is what makes us special. And then of course you can go through feature to feature and say this is different and this is different. But I think in the end, it's all about the focus. And even those features we don't have today, with us, that everything we do, every new developed resource is focused on making better for this customer segment, for e-commerce companies. And that is what's important for us. And I think that's the big difference.
And yeah, that's well said. And I want to sum it up. So what Samir was talking about all these 40 minutes, that's Juni is just not about solid cards with cashback. No, it's just one aspect. It's about the whole financial ecosystem with all the associated services specifically built for e-com and media buyers like you in mind that you get. So think about this. Check Juni out. Give Samir and his company a try. I'll be honest, we are making this either tomorrow or early next week, because I already can see how we can save. 10 hours a month is a lot when you add it up here, just by matching all those spend data to invoices. So that will be huge. And we still use the same services like Facebook, etc.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It was my great pleasure. I asked more questions than usual, but now I indulged my interest completely. That was insightful. I appreciate your time. Have a great evening, everybody. Wait for the recorded stream if you're watching us live. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you.